Hi, welcome to the Gary Felton Golf Show. I'm Gary Felton. That's why I called it the Gary Felton Golf Show. I'm a golf coach. I've been coaching for many years. At the moment I'm in the Colony Club Gutenhof near Vienna. Hope to be here for many years. It's a great club. I just want to briefly tell you my philosophy of the game, and certainly over the last few months, maybe the last year, I've noticed a trend in coaching where, because of new technological advances, I'm talking about the TrackMan and the flight scope and radar measuring techniques of the ball and the golf club. Technology is a wonderful thing, and I'm a big fan of the newest technology, and I like to keep up to date. But what I'm noticing is the new numbers that are coming out, let's say the TrackMan, on one side they're tending to simplify and give us better understanding of what the ball and the club actually do. That taking away a little bit from the simplicity of the game, and it stops them being a game. I don't know how it is for you, but golf can tend to be very, very difficult, sometimes hard to understand why one day it works wonderfully and the next day it doesn't work. We've all been there, we've all had those moments, and I think thinking is one of the biggest things that get in our way. I'm going to tell you a couple of real secrets, and we see often in the internet the secret to golf. This is the way to do it, this is the method. It's not how I teach. I like to keep things really simple and understandable. Now, one of the biggest things, and I'm pretty sure that most of you won't have thought about golf in this way before, which is kind of interesting. I don't know how many of you guys play tennis or table tennis or any other ball sports, but I'll tell you something. If I take this golf ball, it's not any different to a tennis ball. This is actually a sponge ball, but it's easier to show you things. Now, if this is a golf ball or a table tennis ball or a tennis ball, yeah, we have certain things. If we want to create a good shot, whether it's tennis or squash or table tennis, we have a club or a racket and a ball. Now, the golf ball is a ball like any other ball, and many of you out there are probably slicing the ball. Yeah, you may know, okay, the club swings from outside to in, the club face is open, creating a spin to the right. Now, if we take the ball as a ball, yeah, whether it's a golf ball or a tennis ball, then if I am slicing the ball, what am I actually doing? Let's forget golf for a minute, let's just keep it simple. I am actually to create a slice spin, coming with the club or the racket in this direction, hitting the ball here, and I'm creating a side spin. Now that's going to be the way the ball goes to the right. Now if I asked all of you to say, show me a table tennis shot where you created the reverse spin, that means you would swing more this way. That means the ball is going to curve in this direction. I don't think when you're playing table tennis that you think a lot about what you're doing. I think you just react to the ball, and you've got a bat in your hand and you're just reacting to the idea of the spin. Now watch what happens now. Now I'm going to try and create this side spin. It would be the draw in golf. Okay, I'm not thinking a lot, I'm just doing and making a different movement. Look at the difference. Now if I want to slice the ball left to right, I would hit the ball this way, and if I want to create a draw spin, I would swing the racket this way. But I wouldn't think a lot of how that would happen, I would just do it. Now if you start thinking of trying to stop slicing, it causes tension, and tension causes a different set of movements. But if I think, okay, that's a ball, what does a ball do? What does a club do to a ball? Then I can start thinking much more simply of how to create the opposite spin to a slice spin. And let's get this right. Why do we want to draw the ball at all? Very, very simple. And this is how I like to keep the game nice and simple. If you imagine I'm in my garden and I want to build a new fence, it's a good example, and I have a lot of posts and I need to hammer them in the ground. Now just look what happens here. That's a good hammering movement. You see it's making a slight curve back and a slight curve down, and I'm going to hit the post solidly. It's quite an easy job. But now watch this. How would it be if I were hitting with the hammer like this on the post? What would happen then? It'd be a tough job. I wouldn't have much success. I wouldn't be very powerful with the hammering action. I wouldn't be very exact. The precision gets lost. Now just let's turn that into golf. Watch what happens now. Now I'm hammering. Watch where the club's coming into the post from behind. Watch what happens now. Can you see the difference? You would never hammer on anything in that way. But most golfers, and this is really a scary fact, over 30 years since golf's been really studied and the improvements of golfers, still 80% of golfers, 85% of golfers are swinging from the outside. Now if you keep it simple and think, aha, I've got a hammer on something, you would never do that. And the fact that golf is forgotten that it's a ball sport and a very simple action when one keeps it simple. We would never hammer a post this way, we would hammer it this way. And it's the same with the golf ball. So if I lie the ball down here now, let's go a little bit further forwards. If I think of the ball spin and try and create this spin, which is the draw spin, then instinctively I know that when I bring the club down I have to bring it from behind, and to get the spin to just close the club a little bit. That's giving me draw spin. So if you're slicing it, all you're doing is you're coming from outside of the ball target line. You're probably not closing the face because it's difficult to close when you swing in this direction, and leaving the face open, but it's still a ball sport. I want to get that message across. It's a ball sport. And I think a lot of people have never known that or never thought about that. But you guys out there and girls out there that can play table tennis or squash or tennis know how to do this instinctively. And if you lose the idea or never had the concept that it's a ball sport, you're making the golf game extremely difficult. Now this seems very simple, but just ask yourself the question, did you ever think of golf in that way at all? And the answers I'm getting most of the time are no. Okay, and I think that's a real shame. So how I want you to integrate this in your game is very, very simple. I want you just to take a fresh look at how you've been approaching the game. I hear every day as a coach, Gary, my practice swing's really good, and when the ball's there it's different. Now, there's a lot of reasons for that, but one of the main reasons is because of the golf culture. Golf has become really difficult. And this started back in the time when we first had cameras, where we could watch the swing in detail, and because we could watch it in detail, we started as golf pros and golf coaches to analyze the golf swing. And somewhere along the line, it was the art of golf and the game of golf got lost. Because if you ask somebody from one of the great players, a Sam Snead or a Byron Nelson or a Ben Hogan, how to create a draw, the classic saying from Sam Snead was, I think's draw and I gets draw. Why? Because he didn't have a camera to know what his swing was doing, but he understood that the ball is a ball and the club is a club. So what happens in a good golf swing, let's use the sponge ball as an example again, it's a little easier to see. Watch what's happening. If I want to draw the ball, what have I got to do? I have to swing the club from this way. I have to impart a spin on the ball, which starts the ball spinning. It's that simple. Now, I don't know if you've ever thought of the golf like this, but I think if you didn't, it's a shame. That means the next time you go to the driving range, and this is a real key, try and play golf. Don't even try. Trying's not such a great thing. Play golf. Now, I would suggest to do it this way. Start after you've just made a few warm-up swings, a few practice swings to get loose. Take a 9-iron and just pop it on a tee. Okay? Now, when you do that, just take a ball. Make sure the camera can see me there. I'm not going to edit this, by the way. I just want you to get a good picture. By the way, this is going to be free for a while. I'm going to do a few shows that will be free, and then when we go into more detail, they're going to be like mini lessons. Some of these videos are going to take about 2 or 3 minutes, some will only be a minute, some will go up to 3/4 of an hour, depending on what I'm trying to get, message I'm trying to get across. But let's just look at this now. I have actually a 7-iron in the hand, but I would say start with a 9-iron, it's probably easier. Now, just think of one thing now. Think of the spin you're trying to create on the golf ball. Forget golf, forget the rules of golf, forget even how you stand to the ball for the moment. Although the fundamentals are very important, the grip, the stance, they are important, they have a big influence on the ball. But lay a club on the ground just to get nice and straight and standing nice and square. But then make a couple of practice swings at the side of the ball and try and imagine creating this spin. Don't think how, just create it. So that would mean I'm making a couple of swings and I'm just imagining the club swinging this way to the golf ball. That's all I'm thinking of. The club swing this way to the golf ball. And I'm closing the club. I'm not thinking how I'm closing the ball. You don't think of that in table tennis. You just react. And table tennis is a lot more difficult because the ball is moving and you have an opponent. Here you don't. The ball isn't moving. So the reason golf is difficult is most people don't know or have forgotten. It's a ball sport with the same rules as any ball, as any club. So watch what I'm doing now. Practice swing. I'm thinking of the spin. Now because I'm thinking of that spin, my body knows what to do with the club. Now, just make sure nobody's coming. I'm at the side of the fairway. Just watch this. Now I hope the camera can pick that. That's a wonderful little draw. Just made a soft swing. I didn't think of how, I just did. Now if I want to hit a slice or a little fade, I'm not going to think of how I do it. I don't think of it with tennis or table tennis. I'm not going to think about it now. All I'm going to do is picture what the club has to do to the golf ball, and the golf ball's a ball, to get the different spin. Now watch this one. Now if the ball picked that up, that was a lovely little fade. I didn't think how, I just did it. Why? Because the ball's a ball and the club's a club. So I would suggest go to the range, warm up, 9-iron, tee it up a little bit, and just make a couple of swings where you're playing with the golf ball and playing with the golf club. It's about playing. Golf stopped being a game for many people because in the golf culture, and there's some great pros out there, some great coaches, but the danger is at the moment golf's getting more complicated because new technologies, and people are forgetting, or they never knew, golf's a ball sport. Play with the ball. You will be amazed. Some of my people are blown away by this. If you're playing with the golf ball, you can play golf shots. If you're working on your swing, and I'm a big fan of positions, getting the club online, it's great. People need to understand things, but if you're not playing with the ball, you're not playing golf. Try it. I'm going to be bringing out lots of videos in the future. This is the first of many. As I said, they're going to be free at the moment. Snap it up. Take your chance to take some, maybe new information, and it's not going to cost you a thing at the moment. Okay, so have a great day. That was the Gary Felton Golf Show, the first of many. Get out there and start playing golf. Thanks for your time.